So when it comes to your body, that's the one thing that you can't outsource, shortcut or fake. Because if that fails, then pretty much everything else fails. And that's the reason why in this video we're going to talk about like why it's time to get your fitness in order. Because I can remember during COVID, right, during the pandemic, where everybody was we had to all like stay locked in and couldn't go outside. And for me, being a person that that likes to go to the gym like 5 days a week, and I've been doing that for years. So when you tell a person like me, like, oh, you gotta stay inside the house, it's like, damn, like, are you serious? And for me, like, what I was doing was like, all right, let me do some push-ups, let me do some squats, and then I would do some jumping jacks. But it's not the same, right? It's not the same as actually going to the gym where I'm doing jump ropes, I'm lifting weights, I'm walking around the gym, burning calories, and you see over time, like, I'm like, damn, I'm starting to develop love handles. And it's like at this, not only that, but then they're also telling you, oh, you gotta take a shot. And I'm like, yo, I mean, what? Take a shot? Why I gotta take a shot? Why can't I just go outside? Why can't I just go to the gym and allow my body to do what it's programmed to do, right? Fight off, any and stuff that's going on in my body. But this is the world that we're living in, where we live in a world that's designed to keep you soft, right? Through, phones, junk food, Prime, Netflix, drug, take this drug here, take this shot here, right? It's designed to keep us soft. It's compared to like, if you compare it to like how men live, historically, where their survival was based on how active they were, right? Being able to do stuff, doing hard things, where not only that, but strength was a necessity. And not to say that, and obviously that's a good thing that we don't have to live that way now, because obviously we don't have to fight for our food, we don't have to fight for our housing. Like, all these things are done for us. But at the same time, I think it's important to keep that mindset in the back of your mind, where you want to make sure you keep that same mentality, because you never know, right? You never know when times they do get hard, right? And you want to make sure that and then you got to really ask yourself, like, am I prepared for these hard times, not only mentally but also physically? And you got to really ask yourself that question, because I think a lot of men today aren't really ready for that. Like, if times really got hard, would they be able to say physically, I'm ready, like, to withstand all that, right? Because we have everything so easy, we have everything that's done for us, everything is built for us. Like, it's programmed us to be soft. And I know for a lot of people, like, everyone's busy, right? Everybody's working, people have responsibilities, whether you have family, whether it's a job. But let me ask you this question. If a doctor came up to you and was like, hey, if you don't work out at least 3 times a week for like at least an hour, you would die. The next day you're gonna die, right? I bet you, like I said, 3 times. Like, you gotta work 3 times a week for at least 1 hour. If you don't do that, you're gonna drop dead. I'm pretty sure you could find the time to get something done, right? Hit the gym up or work out a little bit and exercise and make sure you're building up your body right? You'd figure it out. Well, I mean, obviously, lucky for you, we don't have to worry about that. But like, you still want to have that same mentality. Use that type of urgency to say, all right, what, I need to say, what, I need to start making a change. I need to start taking my fitness and my health serious, and I need to start doing something about that. Because, like, when you talk about, the benefits, right? There's like so many benefits when it comes to, like, obviously fitness, right? You're talking about more energy, right? And more energy leads to, better decision making, right? More focus. Like, you can make better decisions in life, for things that you want to do. You're talking about developing more discipline, right? Obviously, being consistent with your workouts, going to the gym, making sure you're taking care of your health, making sure you're having a balanced diet, right? All of this requires discipline. You feel better about yourself, right? Like, for a lot of people, they deal with a lot of depression, but sometimes, just being able to go to the gym and just exercise can really help with when it comes to people's mental. Okay. You're also talking about a sharper mind, like, just making sure you're focused on the things that are necessary. And of course, finally, better physique, right? And of course, when you're talking about better physique, this can also lead to like increased opportunities when it comes not only socially but professionally. Like, people like to see people that, all right, this person's clearly in shape. This person clearly has some discipline when it comes to their health and fitness. And people like to see people like that, because they like to see this person, this person's discipline. Like, I want to be around that person. Like, let's work with that person, because it shows that they're disciplined. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, getting your focusing on your fitness and making sure that you're taking time to take it serious, I think is something that we should all prioritize. Because I know, it's a world where it's so easy to be comfortable in all this type of distraction. And so if you're someone that's, trying to figure out how to get started, right? Like, look it, obviously developing the habit is important. Okay. But, just start slow. Like, you don't have to start off with, 5 days a week, right? Start off with 1, maybe 2 times a week. Start slow. And then once that starts to become a habit and it starts something that starts to become normalized, then you can start talking about, maybe increasing it to 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever you feel comfortable with. But you want to try to get into that. And then once you're doing that, and think of it as an investment, right? Because I know for a lot of people, it's like, oh my God, going to the gym, it feels like punishment. Right? But don't think of it as punishment. Think of it as an investment for your future self. Right? Think of it as investment for, whenever times does get to a point where, it's going to require you to be physically, dependent. Like you can withstand those times. Cause when I talk about hard times, look at, some people think we're in hard times now, but you never know. Whenever those times come, you want to make sure you're prepared for it, not only mentally, but also physically. Okay. And don't wait for the New Year's to get started. Like, start tomorrow, right? I know you got a gym membership, that you haven't been to the gym in a while, that your gym is taking your monthly, they taking your money every month. All right. We all know that. Everybody, so many people that have a gym membership that just don't use, but yet the gym is taking their money every month. So, don't wait till the New Year's. Don't wait till New Year's resolution. Like, oh, I'm gonna get started during New Year's. Nah, get started tomorrow. Like, if you got to buy some new gear, new sneakers, whatever, a gym bag just to motivate you, get going. Because I know for a lot of people, the motivation and finding that strength to just do it and mentally get prepared to go do it, that you got to start lifting heavy stuff, man. Like this world, especially for a lot of men, like testosterone levels, right? And men's testosterone levels declining, right? And one of the best ways to increase your testosterone level is to lift heavy stuff. To go in there and lift heavy shit, right? That's one of the best ways to naturally increase testosterone. Go in there and lift something, right? Especially as you get older, testosterone levels start to decline. You want to make sure you're maintaining that fitness level, that physique, lifting stuff. Don't just be comfortable just sitting down, watching TV, working at the desk. Go there, go to the gym and lift something. Right? Like, we don't have to worry about times where we got to fight for food and stuff like that. So we got to find alternatives and to make sure and get used to being able to lift heavy stuff, going to the gym and lifting. Right? You'll notice you'll feel so much better during the day, have much more energy, and you'll feel much better about yourself. So those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure you leave a comment down below with the like button and share. And if you haven't done so, then make sure to subscribe. So guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.